Welcome to the Love Living Local 315 podcast. On this edition of Hey Neighbor, we bring you Martino Rocco. Martino is going into his senior year. He is the quarterback of the Frankfort Schuyler Maroon Knights. And I want to share just a few stats here. Going into his senior year, Tino has rushed for 3,123 yards, passed for 2,946 yards, 49 touchdowns rushing, 35 touchdowns passing. He was the 8-man player of the year last year. He has been first team All-State back-to-back years. And again, he hasn't even started his senior year. This year, he will go over 100 career touchdowns, which is just insane. We get into leadership. We get into hard work off the field and the power of coaching, mentorship, and a whole bunch of other goodies in this episode. So enjoy our conversation with Martino Rocco. All right, the air is getting cooler. It's feeling like football season. Yeah. I'm proud of many things in my life. Proud husband, father. I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to be a Frankfort Schuyler Maroon Knight alumni.
His glory days. He talks about them all the time.
Yeah. Don't blink. 30 years from now, it's going to be you talking about the glory days. So we're here with Martino Rocco, superstar quarterback from the Frankfort Schuyler Maroon Knights. Your stats are sick. We'll get to that, like video game stuff. But when you look back at your career so far, what are you most proud of?
Definitely most proud of like last year winning the championship. Took a lot of hard work to get there, and just the experience of like leading up to that point. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So looking at your career stats, over 3,000 rushing yards, nearly 3,000 passing yards, 84 touchdowns. What do these numbers mean to you personally?
Especially my first year, like I wasn't really used to like all the hype around the stats and stuff. So I guess I was just like out there playing football, and the numbers came along with it, and it was just super exciting seeing like not just me, but like our team's numbers go up compared to the other teams. It was a really cool feeling because we were all so young, so we were like seeing us beat out the older guys and stuff.
For sure. So you started as a quarterback at what year?
Sophomore.
Okay. All right.
So wait, take us back there. All right, so let's set this for the audience. Right, okay. So Tino's going into his senior year, right? So we're talking about 84 career touchdowns before you even play your senior year.
Right.
I think my first touchdown came my senior year. Right, a little different. Did your father ever score a touchdown?
Yeah, it was a lot different back then too. Like because you had so many people in front of you. Like we were so young, we had no one.
Yeah. So talk about that because you played in 8th grade.
Yeah. So I played varsity football in 8th grade.
Yeah. Was that the COVID year?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a spring season.
Yeah.
So 9th grade didn't even have varsity. Yeah. So all of us, like younger guys, we were all freshmen. We played modified, and then the kids that were like sophomores, juniors, and seniors went to Sequoia to play 8-man. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So you've been through some adversity. And then, so in 8th grade, was that 11-man?
Yeah.
Okay. So you did start at 11-man and then the transition came. So which we'll get into that too. This never happened for me, but opposing coaches, right? They're spending all week focused on number 9.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it just is what it is. You're not a secret anymore. Right. So all year you're going to be keyed. What's that like for you mentally, knowing you've got an entire team and coaching staff prepping for you?
Mentally, I don't think of it much as like a disadvantage that they're keying on me because it just opens everything up for everyone else. So like first couple plays, you know what a defense is doing to stop you. Like a lot of people, like we run the ball up the middle, so they stack the box. Perfect. We just run to the outside with Lionel, Jerome, got sweep and like fly sweeps and stuff to just get to the outside. So it's like if you're keying on one guy in our offense, it really doesn't matter because it's opening up for everyone. So eventually we're going to spread out the field and then it's going to work out for everyone.
Tino, that's so awesome that you led with that because our next bullet point was talk about teammates. And football is a team sport.
Oh, yeah.
So those coaches that are just prepping for you, they don't realize that you have fantastic teammates that allow you and the team to be successful. Do you want to? I mean, you just mentioned a couple of them.
Yeah, all our linemen are really great. They do a great job. I mean, coaches is a big part of it too. So we had like work on our timing with our schemes like all week. And everyone just puts in the work. So come game day, everyone's just ready to play. And it's hard to stop us. I can't lie.
Not many have.
No,
that's for sure. At any level, really. I mean, this has been a gifted group of athletes really since you guys were 4.
We knew
ASO soccer.
So people that don't know, Tino and our son Connor have played sports with each other, I mean, since they were young. So we knew this was going to be
really in every sport.
Amazing, yeah.
Right? I mean, other than maybe that one varsity basketball season, I don't know if you guys have ever had a losing season in anything.
Seriously.
Yeah,
which is awesome. Football, there's like 9-10 games, right? So a lot of off-season work. I know that, you put a ton of work into the off-season. What's that look like for you?
Last year, it was a 2-a-day, everyday thing in the summer. This year, I kind of we had some more fun because we realized we were taking so much time on sports that couldn't experience time with friends and stuff, but still worked out, just not as much. But all the preparation comes through the winter, through the spring, summer this year, not as much, but practices and stuff leading up to the games. 4 hours a day, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So that's where most of the hard work comes.
Practices. I remember watching those double sessions Scott used to have, and Coach Legase will keep you many nights late.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Keep you late. They'll get you there early.
Yeah.
It'll be in your ear all through gym club. We'll get to Coach Legase.
Yeah, we'll get there. So you've accomplished so much already. Mohawk Valley 8-man football player of the year, back-to-back first team All-State, leading your team to a Section 3 championship last year, which was huge. What keeps you motivated to continue pushing yourself as you head into your senior year?
Probably defending the title. So we won last year, and you go out your senior year and you don't win it again, it doesn't mean much. It was just a one-time thing. Maybe we got lucky, but if we go out there and win again, prove to some people that it wasn't just luck.
The real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like manufactured motivation, if I'm being honest. If you don't listen, it doesn't take away from last year. Yeah. And by the way, your sophomore year, close.
Yeah.
Right. At the Dome and came in second, a close game. Yeah. So let's talk about struggles, obstacles. We talk about the highlights, but what struggles or obstacles have you worked through? Here, I thought there would be, so maybe there are none.
No, there's definitely obstacles. But
I remember last year you were sick. Oh my God,
yes.
that was huge.
More than once. So in the regular season, I was sick twice. And last year in the Dome, I remember earlier in the week, I had a 105 fever.
Yeah,
and
everybody was worried.
And I was half dead.
Yeah.
So I had to miss one practice leading up to the game, and that was huge. Our whole team was worried.
Yeah.
But then the next couple practices, I just went to practice sick, and in the Dome, I was sick too. So it kind of sucked.
That's a big obstacle, right?
Towards the end of the game, I was cramping up. Cramps are definitely an obstacle for me. I have to, you can ask Connor, I bring a big bag of Pedialyte and water to school every day, try to hydrate myself because
injuries. It's a real deal.
Yeah, because I run the ball so much in our offense that it's just over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. So I just end up cramping up by the end of the game if I don't have enough water during the week leading up to it.
It's funny you say that because I was looking at your stats and I'm I don't even know if I can run that far, period. Forget during games. I'm doing the math on this. I'm 3,000 yards. It's miles. Let's talk about senior year. Obviously defending the title. Is it different? Are you going to approach it different? Sometimes when you're in the moment, it's hard to enjoy it. Is this going to be almost like a victory tour, so to speak, just really soaking it in this year?
Last year was more of a revenge tour. We were all super serious about beating Mooresville because they beat us and everyone was super mad about it. This year, obviously, we're going to not take it any differently. We're still going to be coming hard for the title, be working hard. But, it's our last chance to enjoy football. So not everyone on our team is going to play in college. So, might as well have fun while we're doing it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you obviously have personal goals this year, and your hope for the team is to win the section again. Sure. How do you plan to lead them in success your final year? Being the captain, what sort of things do you do to fire up your team and get them ready? I'm
really big on the motivational speeches and stuff. Before every practice, we have word of the day and stuff. So I do that every day. And then pregame speeches, the night before, I'm looking stuff up on
oh, that's awesome.
Ray Lewis, Brian Dawkins, and a bunch of good people that can get their team fired up. And I just take little bits and pieces from it and try to make my own in my head. And then when I get there before the game, I just wing it.
Any of those on video?
There's one.
We gotta get a hold of that.
We got to get Trey Boy to a football game and get him mic'd up because that would be awesome.
For real.
Yeah.
You want to coach? Have you thought about that?
It's always been a thought in my mind to be a teacher and coach and stuff. A PE teacher, Coach Legase, basically. But I don't know. Money's tight in that area.
It is so funny. He mentioned that with Coach Legase because our son Connor,
Wants to be Coach Legase.
He wants to be Coach Legase
mainly
as well.
so he can golf all summer.
So that he can golf and coach and it's definitely, he has been a huge part of the success. And if we want to sort of move into that now, like your relationship with Coach Legase, how has the relationship influenced your growth as a player?
I've been with Coach for a long time. Like ever since I was in middle school, he had me in the weight room. Well, he let me go to the weight room. I asked him. So I was the youngest kid in there, and they had like seniors was like, I think Jeff DeSaro's like team, like Nick Manine and Alex Vohe, they were juniors when I was first getting into the weight room. And so ever since then, me and Coach Legase have had a pretty close relationship, obviously, with me playing for him for varsity, then modified, then another 3 years of varsity. So he's let me have a little bit of authority coming up. So before it was just like I would have a suggestion and it would mean nothing. Now I get a little bit of say, just a little bit.
You just overrule him anyway?
No,
you can't do that.
I get yelled at. Yeah.
Chris Muto was my quarterback. I think there was a few plays that came from Chris and not Coach.
And you could tell because if you were watching Coach on the sideline, you knew when he didn't call that play.
What impact has he had on you early on and off the field?
I mean, he's motivated me a lot strictly like because of the fact that he was my dad's coach. And I've always like had a like thing that I wanted to be better than my dad. So I always wanted to outwork him like in front of his face and stuff and just do a little bit better than him.
Yeah.
So it's been a competition kind of between me and my dad without it being one. But Coach Legase has been like the mediator of it all. So
it's too funny. That was another thing that I brought up with Scott. We go over these questions and I said, we've got to mention the fact that his father is coaching him.
Oh, yeah.
So like.
Always has.
Yeah.
At some level, you know. Yeah.
So you just talked about that a little bit and how that is for him to see you doing so well, that it's just got to be awesome for him to be part of this journey with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's coached me and the guys since Pop Warner. So it's pretty cool. Like, obviously, he's not the head coach anymore, but he just gets to see all of us go from like little kids to being seniors and growing throughout the whole process and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the 8-man.
Yeah, we can go back to that now. I kind of skipped ahead to the coaches.
So obviously, you know, it's new.
Yeah.
People, especially in this area, struggle with new sometimes and different. So talk about, you know, really, first of all, the key differences, right, with 8-man versus 11.
All right. So the key difference is everyone thinks that it's easier to score an 8-man. Well, it's 10 yards on each side of the field, slimmer.
Yep.
So that's 20 yards. That's a lot of field to work with. We went to an 11-man thud camp at Utica College, and everyone on our team found it a lot easier to run up the sidelines. So in 8-man, you're basically forced to run up the middle and stuff. Like you have no sideline to work with. 3 guys, 20 yards. I mean, that's the difference right there.
Yep.
People think it's a huge difference. I've played both. No one really else has played both. Not a lot of kids have played both. It's not that much of a difference as people think it is. Like everyone hates on 8-man and stuff. But
does that bother you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's gotta.
Yeah, it bothers everyone. Everyone wants to play 11-man. We just don't have the numbers for it.
Right.
So, I mean, we'd love to get a lot of 11-man field teams to get 8 people on the field and play against us to see what.
Right. Take your top 8 against our top 8.
Yeah, seriously. There's a lot of great athletes in 8-man, and people don't realize it. And people look down like it's frowned upon. They think it's like below Class D football. But I mean, if you're a Class D or C school, you can play 8-man football. Yep.
And I've got to say, I think it's more exciting to watch personally.
For sure.
I mean, the scoring, the quickness of the game, like
for sure.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, listen, at the end of the day, it's what you have.
Yeah,
you know,
seriously.
so that's always my thing. It's like, you know, that they're not doing 8-man for any reason other than that's the sport that is in our school.
Yeah.
Right. And it is, gosh, you know, your father and I talk about it. My senior year, the 8 games we played, I think there's one, he'll have to fact check me on this, one, maybe 2 schools left still playing 11-man. Yeah, a lot of them aren't even in existence anymore with mergers and whatnot. So so it's kind of where small schools are going just based on numbers.
And the other thing is we split our athletes with soccer as well.
Yeah.
Like
Seriously.
back when you were in high school, you didn't have a soccer team. Like Scott started playing soccer. But then they eliminated soccer.
Yeah, it was. It's a whole.
And
thing,
you stuck with football. That we are splitting a lot of our top athletes between 2 sports. So
I say that all the time. I mean, you know, schools that dominate, you know, one sport or the other, they typically only have that sport. You know, we'd look at like Poland and soccer.
Dodgeville.
And, you know, well, Dodgeville has soccer.
They
too,
have boys
but,
soccer?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think
Nobody
they did.
really plays it.
Yeah, well, no. If you're in Dodgeville,
Talk
you're
about
playing
being
football.
frowned upon.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen an 8-man game, you should check it out. It's funny, when we were walking into the Dome before your championship game this year, one of the ushers was talking to another usher.
We
and he's
overheard the
like,
conversation.
I've never seen an 8-man game before.
Yeah.
But it's here to stay. Talk about next level. So plans for college.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. Definitely looking at Utica College, like staying local the first couple of years and stuff. I don't really know. I definitely want to play football in college.
Okay.
Hopefully I get some more looks going in my senior year. But I mean, like I said, 8-man's, it's new. It's new to college coaches too.
Right.
So like no one really knows. There's only a select few of like NFL players that have came from 8-man roots and stuff. So, I mean, it's definitely tough for college coaches to look like at an 8-man player and take them seriously. But
here's what doesn't change: your 40 time, your bench,
Yeah.
your squat, your vertical, you know, your agility. Like, so from a coaching standpoint and recruiting, I don't know.
I don't get it either.
If you got an athlete, you've got an athlete.
Yeah.
Right.
One thing I do want to, I mean, we've kind of pumped you up here already, but one thing that stands out to me, has always stood out to me, that I think people don't realize. So 245 career tackles. I've always thought you were far better defensively than people talk about.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes your quarterback, I'm not ragging on quarterbacks here, but you know, sometimes your quarterbacks are afraid to get their nose dirty. Like, like you hit, you know, like you're not afraid to hit and get in there. So defensively, I don't know if that's something you want to look at in college as well.
Oh yeah. A lot of people want me to play like DB or safety and stuff. In high school, I call the plays on offense and defense. Like Coach Gettle will give me the plays and I'll reiterate them to the team. Big thing for me is film. So like where those 245 tackles came from was me during the school day with my Chromebook. When everyone else is doing their work, I'm kind of taking a little bit of time off of my work and watching film, so I know.
No. When your work is done and you're
During study hall, like you have free time.
Come Friday night, though, like I really know what's going to happen before it happens. Definitely.
So talk about films. You guys still watch film on Mondays?
Yeah. So Monday's team film day, and obviously Coach Legase encourages everyone else to watch film throughout the week.
I think that is so important. And you know, last year, they started doing this with Jenna's group. I don't know if it was Palmer that did it, that made them watch a basketball game. It is so important for players to watch themselves. That way they identify their own mistakes and they correct it the following week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys have been doing film since Scott was in school.
We were VCRs back in
well,
the day.
that's what I mean. It's got to be such an important part of just improving your play is to watch yourself on film.
Well, and you, in all facets of life, you act differently when you know you're being watched or you're being filmed. And, you know, Pat Rocco and I were the corners on our team, and we used to hate Mondays. We knew like all day, we knew like
you knew that play that everybody was going to go
out for this. Yeah,
when you make a mistake and they
like 4 plays before it, I'm like slouching down in the seat. I'm like, oh, here it comes.
It's amazing to me that you will talk. And Tino, I'm sure that you have like certain plays or a game that is just, you're always going to remember.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy to me because, I mean, I played sports in high school and I don't think I ever have that moment where I remember that one play or that one time. You guys,
I'll take certain plays to my grave.
Well, that's
I'll forget your name before I forget that Mohawk game.
Football is just a powerful thing with you men. I don't know. But
well, it's like huge. It's huge. It's different than every other sport because you practice so much. And like, you'll watch like the other games during the week, like the soccer games for boys and girls during the week, and they'll have like 3 or 4 games. We have practice every single day, and then we have one game and one chance to show like all the hard work.
That's a good point. I never thought of that.
So that's why it's probably easier to remember because there's only a few games and there's a lot of practice that goes into it.
Good point.
All right, let's talk about leadership and, you know, the younger players. What advice are you giving to younger players on the team that look up to you?
Definitely get in the weight room and work hard outside of practice because if you're just in practice, you're not going to set yourself apart from the group and other teams, and you're not going to get ahead of the competition just by practicing because everyone else is practicing the same as you. I mean, you might be working harder in practice, but that's not a big margin of hard work.
So next season, the Maroon Knights will have a new quarterback.
Yeah.
Plans to mentor the next quarterback?
We're all thinking like we don't know what's going on. And the coach said, we don't know if the coaches we have now are coaching next year. But I think Jerome wants to play quarterback.
Nice.
So, I mean, he's been playing with me ever since I was a little kid too. But that's going to be his first year actually playing quarterback if he does.
Yeah. There's a great quote by Muhammad Ali. He said, I wasn't a champion in the ring. I was a champion in the weight room.
Yeah.
So going back to, your advice about the off season, we celebrate people publicly for the work they do privately.
Yeah.
And I know that's something that you put a lot of time and effort into, and it shows on the field. Let's talk about life lessons.
Yeah, that's the one.
This is, what life lessons will you take beyond this year that you learned from football?
The main thing that I took away from like going from being like an 8th grade football player to being a senior football player was when you're first going into something, it's really, really hard to be successful. But the longer you do it and the more hard work you put in, the easier and easier it gets. And like the game or life slows down as you get better at things. So that's definitely the most that I took away. But it took a long time for the game to get easier, but it also took a lot of hard work and experience. So I'm assuming that translates into real life.
It 100%
It definitely will.
Yeah, I talk about it all the time in the business world. It's that compounding nature, right? The small, seemingly insignificant things that you're doing on the practice field in the weight room are making a big difference, even though it might not feel like it. And you're going to go through that with everything in life, right? You're going to start in college next year. And I remember being the superstar, right, at Frankfort Schuyler. And then I walked into my first practice at St. John Fisher, and I was like shitting my pants. I'm like, I talk about like, small fish now in big pond but everything. And you'll go through that with jobs and relationships,
and
everything
Scott
starts
has
hard.
also talked about the importance of like businesses. And when you hire people, a lot of times you look for athletes because it's so important to be part of a team and to have that motivation and perseverance to just fight through. Like, super important.
It's a ridiculously disproportionate number. Business leaders, millionaires, that they have some sort of athletic background because they learn exactly what you're talking about, the compounding nature and putting in the work and being on a team and leadership, competitive spirit, wanting to win, right? Yeah. We hate to lose everything. Like if we played darts right now, like it would get ugly. I'd win. But
maybe 8 out of 10 times, but I have beat you before.
And the relationships too, it's and the stories. And I know Kelly breaks them on me about the glory days, but it's true. Like at 1:00 today, I've got a call with Todd Robbins, who I played football with, and now we take that relationship and we apply it, here 30 years later.
And their businesses, for sure.
Yeah. So hang on to that stuff. It's super important. All right. Okay. Oh, turf. So.
Oh, yeah. We haven't talked about the new field yet. How did we skip this?
Is this going to make you like faster, better? This is Frankfort put in turf this season for the first time. So I'm looking at your stats and I'm like, I feel like these will only get better on turf.
Yeah, turf definitely helps our team because we're a speedy team. I mean, Frankfort's always been like a little speedy school.
That is always, we're never the biggest ones, but we have speed and we're scrappy for sure in every sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I'm a little nervous about it, like, because everyone's finding all the stuff about turf and injuries and stuff, but trying to look past that. And hopefully none of that happens to any of our guys.
Yeah, just keep up the good work and hydration and all that other stuff, and hopefully your muscles will be fine.
Turf doesn't care about hydration.
Well, whatever. I don't know.
A good tip.
I was trying to be positive.
All right, man. We end all of these with our rapid fire 5 questions. I got a good one here for you to start. So who will have more wins this season, the Maroon Knights or the Dallas Cowboys?
The Maroon Knights for sure.
I hope so.
I don't know.
You said during a previous...
They play more games. Yeah.
During a previous interview, you felt pizza is overrated. Do you still stand by that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's better than pizza?
What's better than pizza? Wings are better than pizza, first of all.
Okay.
I pegged you for a high protein diet kind of guy. So you went right to chicken. I get it. What's one thing you won't miss about football?
It's supposed to be rapid. One thing that I'm going to miss a lot of things about football. One thing that I won't miss about football is the heat. The heat in the summer practices, the conditioning.
If you could change one thing or moment from your football career, what would it be?
Losing against Morrisville sophomore year. Could have done a couple things different to win that game, but yeah.
It'll haunt you forever.
Oh, yeah.
Well, welcome to my hell.
For sure.
Kelly's a teacher. Your mom's a teacher. Who was your favorite teacher?
My favorite teacher ever. I got to say my mom.
You don't have to.
No, because we had the best class ever.
Oh, I
In my
remember
mom's
that
class.
year.
That was a
Connor was
stacked
in your
class.
class as well.
Everyone.
When we
All of our
saw the roster, we were like, what is she signing up for?
I know. I'm like, Melissa, you're good luck.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. This has been an absolute blast, and your numbers and team production as well have been amazing. I think when we look back at this moment in Frankfort Schuyler history, sometimes you can't appreciate it when you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
We've had some winning teams, but we've never seen anything like this. The community's proud of you. We're proud of you, and we're looking forward to your senior year.
Awesome.
Go Knights.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Love Living Local. As you know, we do not run ads. Our only mission is to shine a spotlight on amazing people doing amazing things here in our local community. If you'd like to support us with this mission, we have 3 ways you can help. You can share our content on social, subscribe or follow the show on your favorite podcast platform, and you can visit our lovelivinglocal315.com website to stay up to date with everything happening in Central New York.